KFI AM 640, it's Mr. Mo Kelly. We're live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. I had a fantastic weekend. And I want to thank Melissa Merritt and also Keisha Bryson of Disney. They were kind enough to set aside some accommodations for me. I got to stay at the Disneyland Grand California Hotel and spend a day at Disneyland, spend a day at California Adventure, taking my time going through the park. Took my wife, 2 boys, had a great time. Great time. And it's different. I went last year, but I approached it with a different strategy this year. Last year, and I think, Twala, you may remember this, I was trying to do everything in one day. You can't do it all in one day. You end up missing or not thoroughly enjoying everything. So I took my time. We had a second day. So we had time to do everything we wanted. And the things that we did do, we didn't have to rush through. We waited until lines were shorter for certain rides. We didn't have to push or rush to get in things at a certain time. Oh, and also this. It is now Halloween time at Disneyland. If you go to my Instagram, at Mr. Mo Kelly or at Later with Mo Kelly, I posted some pictures and videos. Disneyland has combined Halloween and the holiday season. And it started already here in August. And it's very cool. If you don't look at the pictures, it's like Nightmare Before Christmas. Except they've expanded it to features and attractions, the fireworks show. If you go to the Haunted Mansion, here's the thing. We had an exclusive media walkthrough of the Haunted Mansion, the updated Haunted Mansion, because they've changed the inner workings of it where all the displays are Halloween stuff. Halloween and holiday stuff. They've merged the 2 holidays.
I saw that on your Instagram.
They changed, I'll say the script, the narration is completely different. Everything is physically the same, but, within it is completely different. And you can see some of that on my Instagram. But they gave us this tour of it at 6:15 in the morning. Sunday morning. Now, that was after spending the whole day in both parks the day before. Talk about tired and sleepy. But it was a great. If I were going to get up at 5 in the morning after staying up until like 1 in the morning the night before, I would do it for this. And I'm glad I did because it was a great experience. We had run of the park at 7:30 in the morning when no one else was there. Nobody.
Really?
All of Disneyland, all of California Adventure. I can say I know what it's like for them to actually open the gates to Disneyland and everyone coming down Main Street. There was this crush of people, and we had already been in the park for a good 2 hours.
Wow.
It is weird, small W, to see what Disneyland is like as it's getting ready to open. You get to see the magic beginning to happen, the food carts and places starting to open up, and it comes alive. That's something I'd never seen before. I've been there, obviously, as the park was closing. In fact, it was the night before I was there until the park closed. But to see that aspect of it was a different way to look at it. And I look at it now through adult eyes. So it's not like the wonder and amazement of a child. It's like, yes, this place brings back very fond memories of my family used to go every single year back when they had the actual tickets, the individual tickets for the rides. I don't know if you know this, Mark Ronner, but first, good evening.
Hello, Mo.
It used to be when you went to Disneyland, you would have a ticket for each ride, and there were different classifications for the rides. You have an A ticket, a B ticket, a C ticket, D ticket, and the best rides were the E ticket rides. So depending on how old people are, they may not remember that. And it was cost prohibitive back then, and they eventually opened it up where, no, if you pay to come in the park, you get to see all the rides. But it was just nice to be able to see, for example, Tom Sawyer Island one last time, because that's going away. You didn't know
Really?
that? Yeah.
No.
I think they just announced that last week that Tom Sawyer Island is going to be no more. I don't know the official date. But some of these older attractions that we had discussed are going away as they revamp and renew some of these attractions. I hadn't been on Pirates of the Caribbean in quite some time, so I got to see the subtle changes where they've updated it to more mirror the movies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Things of that nature. So it's a different park, yet it's the same. It was a great experience, and now they call it the Disneyland Resort. It is much more built out, the campuses, from when I was a kid. Now it more competes with Epcot. There's just so much more. The Pixar Place Hotel is great. It's a lot to do, and you can't do it all in one weekend, even though we tried.
From having enough time this time around to really take your time and kind of peruse everything, what was the most memorable thing you saw?
Before or after the drinks?
Let's say before the drinks.
Okay, before the drinks. The most memorable thing, actually, I enjoyed Downtown Disney. I didn't have the chance to really, okay, when you leave our hotel, 10 steps, you're in Downtown Disney. That's how close you are. And then you walk a little bit of the way. They make you walk all through the Downtown Disney shops. Plenty of shopping options, and there's more things for adults to do. So, yeah, it's like show me to the bar. And then you get in Disney and you see it's just well thought out. It's well laid out. They make it very easy for someone who's staying at the resort to go to either both of the theme parks. And they almost like they say, hey, if you want to come to Disneyland, we advise that you stay on the property. You get the best experience. That's what stood out to me. It's not just a hotel. You want to be at the resort. And that made it even more enjoyable.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a great time. Great time. I think I'll take Mark next year.
Oh, can't wait. So am I understanding that you did some day drinking at Disney?
Well, it wasn't day drinking. It was like maybe 6:30-ish.
Were you walking around kind of half in the bag looking at all the people with the giant cartoon heads?
No. It wasn't like I was like tripping out. I was on acid or anything. No.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
What did you think?
I'm seeking clarification.
It's just Jack Daniels,
that's all.
okay?
Okay.
And the fireworks show, I posted videos of that. They've revamped it specifically for the Halloween time celebration. So if you've not gone to Disneyland or California Adventure in the past year or so, or even half a year, it's like a different theme park.
Oh, wait, you saw a fireworks show?
Uh-huh.
Because the last time I went, it was a light show. They didn't do fireworks, so they did a light show, which was incredible to watch, and I loved it. But I wanted to see the fireworks, and they're like, "No, for right now, we're doing a light show."
No, it was straight up fireworks.
Wow,
straight up fireworks.
Oh, man.
And it reminded me, it's like, wow, do they do this every single night? It just seems like it would be difficult. It was such a sophisticated production to do that type of fireworks show every single night. But I guess they pull it off.
Yeah, no, it's incredible.
It was a great time. Great time. I understand, and I always talk about Amy King and Nick Polluchini who go there so frequently. I can understand how you could get to that point because you can't do it all in one visit. So you will do other things or more of certain things when you have more time. And the way you get more time is to get like an annual pass, and then you can go different seasons, stay later on different occasions. Yeah, I more now get it.
I have a friend that I work with at the school that has an annual pass, and he literally goes every weekend. And we were asking him a few weeks ago, like, what do you get out of going every weekend? And he says, every week I go, I experience something different. He says, I will actually go and spend an entire day in one land or a half a day or whatever, exploring different restaurants, trying different foods, making sure I enjoy every ride, everything there is to do there. He says, and because I have an annual pass, I don't have to rush. That is the beauty of having the pass.
You've reminded me. I enjoyed the food more now as an adult. I'm like, for example, I was not going to get on Guardians of the Galaxy. No, sir. No, I'm not a ride enthusiast. Yeah. The whole idea of just dropping straight, that doesn't do anything for me now. I let them, the youngsters, go do that. I was happy just kind of, because they also give you a gift card. Maybe I'm telling too much, but they also give you a gift card of like $150.
Yeah.
So we had good time, good food, good eats, good drinks, good night.
There it is.
Slept well for those 3.5 hours, let me tell you. It's Later with Mo Kelly. KFI AM 640. We're live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
7-Eleven, Another one robbed. This one ransacked by a large group of thieves basically Friday night, early Saturday morning. LA City Councilman Tim McCosker is calling for the city to provide more police officers and other safety resources in the wake of this robbery. Happened at 1:40 a.m. Police received several calls of a possible street takeover and a disturbance inside a nearby 7-Eleven in the San Pedro area, which is at Gaffey and First Streets. I know exactly where that is, at the end of the 110 freeway. Here's the thing. Each week we talk about 7-Eleven being robbed. Each week, that in Metro. But when we talk about 7-Eleven, it's a consistent refrain, which says to me, and I might be wrong, but I doubt it, but criminals clearly have identified something, and I don't know what that thing is, but they've identified something which suggests that 7-Eleven is an easier target. This is not by happenstance. This is not random. This was a street takeover, which was planned. And then it evolved into ransacking of 7-Eleven, which probably was planned as well. We've been talking about these robberies for the better part of a couple of months, and I've yet to see any convenience store robbed with the exception of 7-Eleven. There is something specific to 7-Eleven which either makes it more conducive or more attractive of a target to rob. And I'm not blaming
those
the
wieners
victim.
on the roller.
Yeah, I don't want to blame the victim, but the victim's doing something wrong here. It's maybe unfair to find fault with 7-Eleven, and not necessarily are they doing anything wrong to bring this about. I want to make that distinction, but clearly there is a preference. There is a choice being made by these criminals, and they are targeting and they are seeking out 7-Eleven. Now, I've always thought that it had to do with the layout, because most 7-Elevens, they're easy access. You usually have the counter in the center, and it's easy to, if you're trying to rob the place, probably easier to get to the register and get out than other convenience stores. But some of these are not even full-fledged robberies in the sense of trying to get money from the register. This case, they just ransacked the place, took items, took food, took things which were reachable within arm's reach, and then ran off or fled on bicycles or in cars, that kind of thing. It was a coordinated effort, but it really wasn't all that coordinated, where obviously they were trying to ransack the 7-Eleven, but it didn't seem like they had a real sophisticated plan.
What if in the middle of a robbery, you just feel like a Slurpee?
Oh, I'm quite sure there was someone who stopped to get a Slurpee during the robbery. I don't know this for a fact, but I'm pretty sure someone was brazen enough during the 2 minutes or however long of the robbery to stop to get a cup and fill themselves up a Slurpee.
Oh, yeah, it's thirsty work in the middle of the summer. You got to stop for a Slurpee.
Now, you need to have more respect for the victim.
I'm not blaming the victim. I was actually looking up most dangerous occupations in the United States. Weirdly, convenience store clerk is not on there.
How is that even possible?
You got logging workers, fishing and hunting workers, and the roofers, aircraft pilots and flight engineers. No convenience store clerk anywhere.
I guess if you want to break it down to type of danger, whereas you may die any given day, yeah, okay, engineer, aircraft engineer. But when it comes down to the danger of getting assaulted each and every day, it's got to be either a Metro bus driver or 7-Eleven cashier.
Yeah, or taxi driver or something like that, but it's just not on the list. That's really confusing.
I don't know. Well, again, what was the most recent information that you looked at? Because by the end of this year, they may make the list.
Yeah, the 2025 list, they may be right front and center. This is from Forbes. It looks like last summer, and but all the lists say the same thing. It'll be updated though.
Look, I don't know what they're paying at 7-Eleven, but it's not enough. There's not enough. You're telling me there's not some other place that you can work as a convenience store attendant, as a cashier, as a floor mopper? There's no other place that you can work other than dangerous 7-Eleven. I would think at this point that if you're not already on your way out the door, that you will be by the end of the month. Well, that's only like a few days away. But still, I mean, like, what would make you want to go back to that job? It can't be the money. It can't be that.
Do they get the new $20 minimum wage?
That's a great question.
I'm not sure. Look that up.
I don't know if they qualify as quote unquote fast food though.
Yeah, because if they don't even get that, then I especially would get the hell out of there.
Yeah. Look, maybe because they're 24 hours, there's more flexibility with the scheduling, which may be attractive to some people. But, under threat of death would probably be one of those drawbacks. You have this paper and you put your pluses and minuses. On one side, you put the pros. Okay, flexible hours. On the other side, you put the cons. Might get shot. On the other side, you put the pros like, well, they have they'll help pay for my college tuition or something. And on the other side is like, it might get stabbed. I don't know what makes you say, let me choose to work at 7-Eleven at this point.
Yeah, might get a black bag shoved over my head and thrown into the back of a van. That's in the negatives, right?
And I wonder what the training is. I'm quite sure they're told not to engage if they're being robbed. I'm going to make that assumption.
Oh, yeah, that's the thing. It's not your money. Don't put your life at risk for it. Let them take whatever they want.
Right. But we all know that they don't have a lot of money in the drawer or the safe, right? Don't we? I mean, it's posted everywhere. I'm quite sure after all these robberies, they're not going to keep a lot of money in the stores.
Especially now, yeah.
Yeah, especially now. I don't know. I just don't know what the upside. If you're going to steal some candy bars, you're going to steal some drinks. Maybe they sell alcohol there, right? I don't know because I don't know. I don't go there.
I believe so. I haven't been to a 7-Eleven in years, so I would hope they do.
Yeah. Let's assume they do. You're not going to get a lot. So I don't know if this is more about mischief when you're ransacking this store as opposed to actually robbing it and trying to get some money. Now, the other robberies we heard, they were trying to get money and they were strong-arming the cashier and so forth and threatening with guns. But this just seems to be a ransacking, not to minimize it, but just to differentiate.
Yeah, maybe it's as simple as they just happen to be open when most other places are closed. They're open, they're brightly lit, and it's like bugs to a light.
Well, that's part of it. But, Denny's doesn't get robbed like that.
No, you don't hear that, do you?
No, not yet at least.
You just have a grand slam and go about your business and don't bother anybody.
Quick question. Have you ever dined and ditched from Denny's?
I was with my wrestling team in high school, and they tried to ditch me with the bill once.
and leave you the only one sitting at the table.
Yeah, and I was like, I'm not paying for everybody. So then I ran out after him, and to this day, I feel bad about it.
I did only once in my life.
Yeah.
And I think one day I'm going to go back to that Denny's and just put a 20 on the table. Just walk out.
I think we both should, actually. Square our karma.
No, it's a true story. I want to say this was my club going day. So this is maybe 92, 93. And we went to the Denny's by Del Amo Mall. And it's still there to this day. And I went there and it was hundreds of people coming from the Red Onion in Redondo Beach. I know we were coming from Redondo Beach. I know we got to go to break very quickly.
Well, this is important.
Yeah, it is. And we went up to the counter to pay the bill. And there were so many people from the club. They only had like maybe one or two on the wait staff. So there was no way that they could accommodate everyone. And we were probably as a group, all 50 of us from the club, being obnoxious and loud, and they're doing their best to accommodate us and serve us, but they couldn't take our bills quick enough. And I had back then, I was more of an a-hole than I am now.
Your time was valuable.
Right. And I said, if they don't take my money inside of 2 minutes, they've lost the right to ask for it.
That's right. It's on them.
So I was justifying it to myself. And I remember I got like a French slam and something else. So, and we waited. And what was really dumb is because Torrance police, they would always patrol that Denny's. For some reason, we decided to throw caution to the wind, and we ran out after 2 minutes. I did give them 2 minutes. We ran to the car. I was a man of my word. We ran to the car, and I remember the waitress, she ran out after us. Now, what she was going to do, if and when she caught us, I have no idea. Maybe she was trying to get our license plate. But one day I'm going to go to that Denny's in Torrance and just put $20 on the counter.
Yeah, we both have some amends to make, I think.
What number step is this?
I don't know, but we're both going to spend some time in purgatory because of what we've done to Denny's. Even though we were kind of kids at the time.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're trying to get better as we get older. It's Later with Mo Kelly. Let's talk potholes when we come back. KFI AM 640 live everywhere in the iHeartRadio app.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
And I think everyone hates potholes. They will ruin your car. And they're like a virus. They're like herpes. They keep coming back. You think you get rid of them. Don't look at me like that, Mark Ryder.
If you say so, we'll all have to take your word for it.
They keep coming back. Okay, I walked into that one.
Come on, Foosh.
No.
First one of the week. Come on, don't be stingy.
Okay, give it to him.
Look at his face. He's wrestling with it.
No, go ahead, give it to him. Okay.
Rough.
The potholes keep coming back. It does not matter if they fill them, and when they fill them, we've talked about this before, it's usually a shoddy job, or at least in my neighborhood. And I say that because I live in Los Angeles. Stephen lives somewhat close to me. I'm not going to say where he lives, but we're both LA County. And we, being in LA County, have to deal with, I would say, not scant resources. It's more of a problem of them covering the terrain. The LA is just so physically massive. To expect that they're going to get to all those potholes in any reasonable amount of time, it just doesn't happen. So they fill some of them, they do a shoddy job, and then they're back in 3 months, 3 weeks, or something like that. Here's something which I think is pretty significant and a different strategy which is being applied, but in the city of Long Beach. Long Beach is trying to curb its pothole problem entirely. Not fix some of them, not fix most of them. Fix every single one that they have knowledge of in the city of Long Beach. But not just fix potholes, but fill in and level out every questionable bit of road across the city's more than 50 square miles. Would this be realistic for the city of LA or the county of LA? Absolutely not. But Long Beach is going to be very ambitious, and they're going to try to fix all of the roads in the city of Long Beach. And so far, the city has filled about 28,000 of the potholes. That's according to the mayor's office. 28,000. In fact, they're having people from the Public Works Department work 6 days a week. We talked about homelessness last week, cleaning up the parks. Now they're trying to fill up the potholes and fix the roads in the city of Long Beach. Now, this is according to Bob Haas, Haus, who said, quote, whenever it rains and of Caltrans, whenever it rains and the rainwater accumulates on the road, tires from the road actually squeeze the water into the pavement. So that repeated squeezing into the asphalt and into the concrete causes the cracking. Now, I was today years old. I didn't know that. They always said that, rain caused potholes. But if you asked me, if you pinned me down, you put me on jeopardy, I wouldn't be able to answer you and tell you specifically the science behind rain and potholes.
No, I'm still trying to figure out how far your herpes metaphor extends, and I'm not really getting it, so to speak. Please proceed, though.
Long term, no pun intended. The mayor said that there's a need to do more concrete work and flood control, but this is all a part of their Elevate 28. They have a 5-year, multi-million-dollar plan to repair public facilities, parks, like I was telling you about last week, beaches and waterways throughout the city because, of course, 28 is the Olympics, and Long Beach is going to play a sizable role in the Olympics. They have the aquatics and some other events which are going to be in the city. And the last thing they want is to have a city that doesn't seem ready. And they want to get out in front of as many pothole repairs as possible. The real question is, okay, so it's almost like housework. It's not like something you ever finish. You can do the dishes, but they're still going to get dirty again, the next night. You could fill the potholes, all 28,000 of them, but how many are going to be back the next time it rains? So I don't know. I understand they want to get out in front of it and at least get as many done as possible, but I don't know if you really ever get ahead of it.
The question seems to me like for this big cleanup for the Olympics, is it like doing a full scrub down of your whole house, or is it just like shoving some stuff under the bed? How serious is this?
I think it's both. Yeah. I think it's both because you always clean the areas which can be seen. Like if you have like a family room, a living room, an open area, you're going to make sure that spot is immaculate. But some of the other bedrooms, yes, you may probably throw stuff in there.
Don't open that closet door. Right. Don't do it.
It's probably a little bit of both. And also you probably push people to the areas that you want them to see. I don't know if all of Long Beach is going to be spectacular and sparkling. I don't know. I know Long Beach pretty well. There's a lot of damn cleanup they would have to do.
Don't go in the cellar. There might be some bodies.
Yeah, there's some streets that you probably should not drive down, even today in Long Beach. I'm not going to call them out, but
they're everywhere. I don't know how often this happens to you, but just this weekend we were driving and we go over one of those where it's like a giant ka-thump that you think, well, that had to cause major structural damage to the car. That can't be good. And our options are pretty much zero here, right?
Here, for me, I like to drive in the same lane on the same roads of the same highways if I'm getting on the 110 or whatever every single day. Why? Because I know for the most part where the potholes are and are not. For example, if I go down El Segundo Boulevard, that's like dodging craters.
You know the roads that well, like the riverboat captain in Life on the Mississippi. You can just steer around that stuff.
Yes, if you drive the same lanes each day, like when I get on the 5 freeway, there's a certain lane I always drive in because I know the potholes, the ones they haven't filled up, where they are. So yeah, I don't have to worry about accidentally hitting one for the most part until it rains again.
Well, that's impressive.
I'm absolutely serious.
Hey, it's impressive, and it's sad that you have to know all that, too.
Stefan, help me out here. I mean, I can't be the only one, like, for example, driving down El Segundo Boulevard, and it's like a slalom course.
Yeah, kind of like that. That's probably the best way to describe it because you know where to move. And like I think we said before, it's like I get worried if a cop's behind me because I want them thinking I'm, like, drinking. I'm just trying to avoid the potholes. I don't want to, mess up the car.
Yeah, they are really bad. Really, really bad on Imperial Highway and definitely El Segundo. Century has gotten better, if only because they always want Century Boulevard to look better and feel better because it's going to the new stadium, new arena, that kind of thing. So they put more money into Century Boulevard. Yeah, but all my routes are pretty consistent for that reason. So I don't hit an unexpected pothole as best as possible.
I got to get one of those monster trucks with the huge tires. Otherwise, I'm cooked.
Where would you park it?
The neighbor's front yard.
I know your neighbors just love you.
Oh, we love each other.
It's Later with Mo Kelly. KFI AM 640 live, everywhere in the iHeartRadio app.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
On this National Dog Day. And if you know me, I love my 2 furry family members. They're both mini schnauzers. Benson, who's 6, and Riley, who is bigger than Benson, but only 4 years old. He's fat. Got to put him on a diet. He's fat. Eating too well. That dog loves to eat.
Why do you like the little dogs? Are you afraid of a larger dog?
No, not at all. But I'll tell you, one, because my wife prefers little dogs, and there's some science to this. Smaller dogs usually yield smaller piles of poop to clean up.
Enough said, right there.
So they're easier to manage in that way. And also, we have a smaller doggy door. Look, I've had dogs for a lot of my life. These 2 are probably some of the best ever. Without a doubt. They don't make any mistakes. They don't mess up. They are so well behaved. With the exception, Riley likes to bark at whoever walks by, but that's more out of protection and love. It's like, who are you? Get away. I was like, what are you going to do other than get your ass kicked, Riley? You're not that big.
No, you had me with the poop argument because when you're cleaning that stuff up, nobody wants to feel like they're wrestling a Scottish caber off the ground.
No. And, they always go in the backyard. Even though we may be gone for hours at a time, they're just such great companions. But just in case you didn't know, from Rover.com, and that's an online market for pet care, they teamed up with Ancestry to find out which dog breeds are the most popular across the country and what their personalities are like. The most popular kinds of dogs are, and this is according to Rover, Labrador Retrievers, no surprise there.
Best dogs in the world.
Golden Doodle, Golden Retriever, German Shepherd, no surprise there. Chihuahua, surprise. French Bulldog, that's kind of the trendy thing right now. and dachshund. I think our boss has a dachshund. I think Robin has a dachshund. I might be wrong. I think so.
Those Frenchies kind of grow on you. They're cute.
Oh, you've had a French bulldog?
No. I know people who have, though, and they're just kind of fun little alien-looking creatures to have around.
Yeah, my wife used to have a lot of pugs. I've never had a pug, but I've always, because of her brother had a mini schnauzer, and so we just kind of started falling in love with mini schnauzers. They're very smart. They're full of personality. They can be stubborn as can be, but they are extremely affectionate and kind. You know, they are pretty loyal, stubborn, but loyal.
Big fan of the labs, especially the yellow ones, because they can work their eyebrows like Leonard Nimoy. They're good. They have
the facial expressions.
Yeah, they have human facial expressions. You ascribe to them intelligence that maybe they don't have, but they are pretty smart.
I've had a few dogs over the years, as I was saying, and one of the first dogs I had was a mix of a German Shepherd and Doberman Pinscher, but as nice as could be. Just could not be any nicer. Her name was Pound Cake. My dad named her. Don't ask me why she was named Pound Cake, but they named her Pound Cake. It stuck, and she was a average intelligence. Didn't learn any tricks or anything, but just was very loving. Now, Benson and Riley, my wife and I made a concerted effort to always speak to them in complete sentences.
The Queen's English, of course.
Yeah, but they respond to, look, when we say go lay down or go downstairs.
And they correct you, it's go lie down. What's wrong with you?
Well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. They respond to the command.
Oh, I see. Okay.
We didn't say Queen's English. We didn't say grammatically correct.
Okay.
And we'll tell them, go upstairs. They'll do that. We have any number of commands, but we always speak to them in complete sentences so they see or interpret the command across the whole sentence.
And they make sure that they don't want to hear you ending a sentence in a preposition. Are they particular about it?
No, they haven't complained because I'll say, Benson, where you at? No, it's a complete sentence that they're not correcting for grammar, but they understand. They are. There's a few tricks they can do. I can have Benson open a gate with his paw. He knows how to open a swinging gate from either direction.
Really?
Yeah.
Does he think there's food on the other side?
No, not usually. Huh. No, he'll just, I'll go to one side of the gate and I'll say, Benson, open the gate, and he'll open the gate and come through, and I'll do it from both sides.
That's impressive.
Yeah, I got some video of it somewhere. I'll post it again, but he can do it. And also, Benson will sing. Now, a lot of schnauzers will howl when there's a fire engine or emergency vehicle coming by. If it's loud enough, he will howl at the engines.
Okay, I got the best dog trick in the world. I had a yellow lab once. Name was Leo. And I taught him to sing with the saber dance. Do you know the saber dance? Yeah. And the dog, when it went to, the dog would go, ow. He would do it every time I played it.
Well, I can't get Benson to sing with any rhythm or any type of melody, but he will howl anytime he hears me singing or my wife singing, or he hears like an emergency vehicle. So when I get home tonight, I'll have him do that again so people can
practice with the saber dance. They'll catch on.
I'll do that just for you, Mark.
Thank you.
KFI AM 640. We're live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
KFI is literally the KFI of talk radio. KFI.
And KOST HD2.
Los Angeles, Orange County.
Live every